Knicks fans, welcome to episode 54 of the Worldwide Knicks podcast. Omar here alongside Rafa. We're missing Alex this week. Hopefully he will be back next week, coming at you recording on a Monday night. Getting ahead of myself, Rafa. How are you doing tonight, man? I hope you're doing better than these Knicks have this past week.
Uh, well, because of the Knicks, I'm not doing that great.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
That'll
know,
happen.
man. Last night's loss was too tough. I don't know. I don't know how. Why?
Yeah,
To
man.
maintain.
Yeah, they're not looking good right now. A few injuries as well, which we'll get into in a little bit. But when you look at this past week, three losses. They're now on a four-game losing streak with losses against Washington, Atlanta, and Toronto. I was in the building for the Atlanta loss, so that wasn't great. DeJounte Murray hitting everything, Trae Young getting calls, Knicks in disarray. I can only imagine what Clyde
Exactly.
was saying. So a lot of bad basketball, a lot of losing basketball going on right now. Like I said, four losses in a row. It's not going to get any easier. A lot of teams above us in the standings coming up in the schedule when we talk about our game picks a little bit later. But obviously, this has to start with a conversation about Tom Thibodeau, right? Four losses in a row.
My
They haven't
God.
looked great. These are been losses against teams that are below the Knicks in the standings, which are huge because you got to beat those teams if you want to maintain playoff position. So my question to you, Rafa, is the hot seat getting a little hotter under Coach Tibbs's ass right now?
Yeah, I don't even know. Because every time he's a seat hot, the Knicks play better. So I don't want to say it. I don't want to. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to think about this. Would Tom Thibodeau still be the coach of the New York Knicks if it wasn't for that 9 game winning streak playing like this? I don't know. That streak might have saved them the season, to be honest. That's what I'm thinking right here. Um, I'm not. I don't think as hot as his seat might get, he's not going anywhere until the end of the season. Like,
Right.
we're right where we thought we would be, fighting for the playoffs. We play-ins, playoffs, that playoff spot, that final playoff spot. So it seems that this year's there.
Yeah.
So, and I don't. I mean, I'm tired of him. I'm sick of him. I'm sick of the same issues over and over again. Obviously, I mean, when we play good defense, I'm okay. At least we got that going. But
Mhm.
our defense hasn't been great. I don't know. I don't buy into the players have given up on him
Right.
again, because it's a conversation again. Clearly, they didn't, because they were winning games, but there's a few losses. And you alluded to the fact that injuries. I mean, there's one big injury right now, which is Mitchell Robinson. We missed him greatly,
Yep.
um, because Sims in an extended role, you can feel the rawness. He's really, really raw. He still needs a lot of work to be a starting center. And Hartenstein is, well,
Not a starting
call
center.
it, well, yeah, and especially not a starting center that we need the
Yeah.
way we need the starting center to play. So he's clearly been miscast for the Knicks team right now. I mean,
Right.
clearly, and especially after that start of the season when we Tom Thibodeau shifted back, we reverted back the team to a different style of play.
Mhm.
Hartenstein is completely lost right
Yeah.
here. So, I mean, I don't even know what to think. It's the same issues, same problems, same offense, same defense. Like, I don't know what to tell you. End of the season, maybe we can discuss Tom Thibodeau's future here or not.
Yeah, it's a it's a weird situation because, like you mentioned, it's the same mistakes and they're amplified now that Mitch is out because we'll get to Mitch in a second, but the whole schematic of his defense is centered around having that rim protector down low to kind of, direct traffic, and that hasn't been happening. And I haven't really been on a lot of fire Tibbs bandwagon type stuff, but like the refusal to play certain players, and we'll talk about Obi Toppin a little bit later. Obviously, Cam Reddish, also somebody we'll talk about. He just hasn't seen the floor. It's just like
Yeah.
it's that Tibbs stubbornness that makes him such a great foundation builder. But once the foundation is kind of built, is the same thing as kind of his undoing. And he's sticking to the same schematics, and that's like the whole Hartenstein thing. You should be playing a certain type of offense when you have him on the floor, but instead it's not really
No,
happening.
you're not.
You're kind of trying to make him Mitch, and every now and then he'll shoot a corner three, but that's not really adapting enough. We've seen this bench look good and look bad. We've seen the starters look good and look bad in stretches, and it just seems just incredibly lackluster. And I won't go as far as to say that the players have quit on him, because at the end of the day, I look at that as like, I don't really look at it that way. This isn't college basketball. Like these players are trying to earn their money and get to their next contract. Like that's the reality. They're trying to stay in the NBA. And so if you just stop playing good basketball because you hate the coach, well, what good does that do you? It's just like
Exactly. Yeah.
and my thing is like, I don't know if it's a good thing if they should wait to the end of the year or not to do it, because like these next few games, again, we'll talk about the next games later, but the next three games they have look like legitimate potential losses. And so that would be seven in a row. And like at what point do you look at it and say, hey, maybe it's time for a change, maybe it's time to do something a little bit different, because you have a team now that isn't really reacting to his scheme for whatever reason. And yeah, so that's kind of the way I'm looking at it right now, Rafa, is that you have a team that whatever is used to be working right now isn't working. And, you have to be able to adjust, and the adjustments just haven't been there.
We were kind of discussing it before we started the pod because you didn't catch this last game.
Yeah.
Lucky you. It's like our offense, it completely changed. The way we play our offensively completely changed the past. It all changed when RJ Barrett went down.
Mhm.
RJ Barrett got injured, and it reverted into the shooting contest between Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle.
Mhm.
30 shots apiece, and it was like, okay, so they're taking RJ's shots, but why quickly has been given more run as well. He shoots a lot, but it was a lot of it seemed like a lot of ISO plays. And I've watching the games, listening to Mike and Clyde, it always saying that, oh, the Knicks aren't sharing the ball, they're averaging so and so assists, and today they're underneath that.
Mhm.
Feels like they're underneath that a lot. Gone are the games where Jalen Brunson would had 8 assists, 9 assists, 12 assists while
Well,
not shooting the
even
ball.
even the assist numbers, Rafa, are misleading, because how do those assists
Yeah,
happen? It's Julius, it's RJ, it's Jalen holding the ball, breaking down the defense, trying to take it to the hole, and then them collapsing. But in all of those, and then passing out for a corner three, all of those plays start with 10 to 15 seconds of the primary ball handler just kind of initiating an ISO. And that's just this is a game of spacing, and it's a game of ball movement. Like you look at the way the Nuggets play, the way the Warriors have historically played. These are guys and teams that even like ball centric guard teams like the Blazers with Lillard, they still move the ball more than the Knicks do. And
yeah,
offensively, it's unimaginative, it's stagnant, and when the shots are going in, it's great, right? Because we're scoring points, we're winning
definitely.
games. But when they're not going in, it just puts a magnifying glass on the holes of this team.
Yeah, but it's you can look at that at teams in looking at a little bit watching film, you
Mhm.
can see that teams are defending the Knicks differently, especially bringing up the ball up the court when we are bringing the ball up the court. The defense played on Jalen Brunson is a lot different.
Mhm.
They got lengthier guys on him, so in that
Yeah,
difficulty
Toronto's been
his
doing that
job.
against us.
Toronto did it. I think the Spurs did it. Like
Yeah, they
the
did that
game
as
we
well.
lost in San Antonio, they
Yeah,
did
they
it,
threw
and he had
Keldon Johnson
trouble.
at him the whole game in the backcourt.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but we had the beginning of the season, I'm going back into that 9-game winning streak.
Yeah.
We had other guys bringing the ball up the court.
Mhm.
We had RJ initiating. We had Julius initiating.
Right.
So we had the well, what we expected from the team. Brunson, okay, Brunson is being doubled or being pressured. Let's give Randall to initiate. He can do it. We all know he can do it. He did it 82 games the past two years. RJ can do it now. You can see RJ can do it. That's why he runs with the second unit, because it gives him more of that type of run.
Right.
So why not try that different approach? Oh, well, Jalen Brunson is a guy who can play off ball. Oh, ask Luca. It worked. So it's weird how we, especially this game against Toronto, it was when Brunson was on the floor. He was the. I know he's our point guard. I get it. I'm not saying he shouldn't. He isn't point guard or he isn't good. It's like, why is he, if he's having trouble, why is he bringing the ball and starting the offense every time?
And in
It's not
today's
working like
NBA,
this.
you don't do that. Like there are times where Golden State, no one's questioning who the point guard of that team is, but you'll see Steph play a little off ball, let Jordan Poole initiate the offense every now and then. Again, bringing the Blazers up again back when they had McCollum, or even now with Simons, you see that guy, that second guy, kind of initiating the offense, and Lillard plays a little off ball every now and then. Like it happens, and that's the way it is. You need to have multiple point of attack initiators in today's league. And the thing is, the
Exactly.
Knicks have it, but the way they're using it isn't really conducive to the roster that they have. And that's
Not at all.
where the coaching concerns are legitimate. Like you're playing this game like you're back in 98 in the early 2000s, when in reality it's a different game now. And you have to allow these initiators to initiate, and can't just keep on relying on Brunson all the time, or just give it to Randall on the wing and hope for the best type thing. You need to kind of mix it up a little bit.
Exactly. And it shocks me how we're un all of a sudden unable to adjust like that.
Yeah.
What happened? What's the thing? I mean, are they, everyone is playing for stats for the All-Star game? I don't think so, but it's just, I mean, what happened? What gives? Like, what the fuck? It's That's why that loss last night was so, to me, was so, let's call it painful. We're like, oh, come on, not this crap again.
Right.
Maybe it was late again for me, so maybe I take it harder. But it's like, why? I'm watching reruns of the same game. What then I click the wrong tab and I'm watching the game live,
Yeah.
because it's the same things all over again. And we when I say coaching, you're talking about, well, coach's issue. It's not only Tibbs. Well, there's the coaching staff.
Yeah.
No one goes up to, or can go, or goes up to Tibbs and say, well, maybe we should try this instead of that. What is Tibbs going to smite him down? I don't know. If he's a coaching staff, people who work with him, I don't think he's an asshole like that. So
Yeah, and it seems like those guys
why?
like Andy Greer, Johnny Bryant, these guys have been empowered before. Back when Kenny Payne and Woodson were on the staff, they were empowered with stuff before. So yeah, I think there needs to be a mix up with that, and kind of somebody needs to get into Tom's ear and say, hey, let's try something a little bit different. But let's move on to our next topic. And a big part of why the Knicks have lost these past couple games, at least, is the absence of Mitchell Robinson. He suffered a fractured thumb in the Washington game, another game that ended up in a loss. And he just had surgery. He's going to be reevaluated in 3 weeks. And, the team treaded water. They were 500 when he missed 8 games earlier in the year. I'll tell you what, man, this is going to be tough sledding without him, because, like I mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
he is the nucleus of this defense. He is a player that the entire defensive scheme kind of relies around him protecting the rim. And when he's off the court, a lot of times you see that difference. So I guess from your view, how bad of a loss, how big of a loss is it for the Knicks to lose Mitch for the next 3 weeks?
Oh, it's awful. It's absolutely atrocious. those 3 weeks might be the most important 3 weeks of the season right now. Tough games, tough schedule,
And you're coming up
and
on the deadline
he's
too.
out.
So yeah.
Yeah, and he's out. Like, what are you gonna do? We saw how we don't grab offensive rebounds. Like we're not of enough as an offensive threat as we offensive rebounding threat with him in there. I mean, defensively, guys attack the paint much more freely than with Mitch there. Mitch doesn't have the blocking numbers or something anything like that, but they fear Mitch. You can see how guys, oh, it's Mitchell Robinson. Let me try something different.
Mhm.
So and you can see that he affects the guys driving into the lanes. So not him not being there. Sims is well very very raw still. He's
Yeah.
not well. He can be serviceable off the bench as a starting center. Well, he can do something. He can't do it all. He can't be Mitchell Robinson.
Right.
And I mean, credit to Mitch because he got paid this year, last year, this year, and him being out mm, is we're so different with him being out proves that he deserves the money
Right.
and even more. So we got a good deal here, and he got a good deal, and that only leverages to him for a future deal or whatever he wants to ask in the future because he really is I mean, people are always saying that we don't know who to trade there. Man, maybe the number one guy teams would want would be Mitch. Now, no Randall, no RJ. Mitch in a winning team. Mitch playing with the Suns, with Paul and Booker shooting bricks, and he's grabbing them all.
There you go. Yeah, Mitch for Aiton, straight up. No.
Oh my God!
um, yeah, it's one of those things you never realize how good a player is until that player is no longer available. And Mitch is the epitome of that. You don't notice how he alters shots, how he alters drives at the rim. The Hawks game was a perfect example. They were getting inside and scoring within 10 feet whenever they wanted. DeJounte Murray was getting inside whenever he wanted. John Collins was getting inside whenever he wanted towards the end of that game. Just because ultimately Hartenstein and Sims are just not the level of defender and presence that Mitchell Robinson is. And when you've built your entire defense around the idea of rim protection on the inside and giving up favorable threes, then you take the main point of that, the focus of that out. And what are you left with? You're left with games where teams are scoring over 120 points in regulation consistently on you. And that's what we've seen
Yeah.
the last two games. And that's probably what we're going to see over these next 3 weeks. And, I know when he was about to be extended, everybody was worried because of health concerns, right? Oh, he can't stay healthy. And, he's kind of proven that a little bit now this year because it's the second time he's gotten injured and he's going to miss multiple games. But he's also just showing his value that this team does not function defensively without him and offensively because of his offensive rebounding. That's a
Yeah.
huge loss to take as well. So they have to take better shots. And, I feel like you have the security blanket when it comes to Mitch, right? Like you're going to take a bunch of shots and they may be bad shots, but you have a good confidence that, oh, Mitch is going to clean it up because he's a really good offensive rebounder. And now you lose that. So you have to take better shots and they're not taking great shots still because that's what they're used to. And, we're seeing the results. They're
That's
missing
why I'm
shots.
laughing, man.
What's that?
That's why I'm laughing. That's why I'm laughing. Like our offense is like, hey, if we take back shots, bad shots, Mitch is there. That's our offense right now. Like,
I
what the
mean,
hell
like
is
Green
this? Are
has
we
said
doing?
that, where he was like, oh,
Yeah,
sometimes it's, their best offense is missing a shot and having Mitchell Robinson clean it up and, either dunk it or dish it out to somebody to reset and get a better look.
yeah,
And, we're going to miss that, and again, the games are not
absolutely,
getting
absolutely.
any easier. We have one of the most difficult remaining schedules in the league. I mean, this will get real ugly real quick, and I guess that brings us to the next
Before
player.
you
Yeah,
sorry,
go
before you move on to another disappearing act in Cam,
ahead.
um, Mitch is getting injured, but at least there are no foot-related injuries. That's
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Right.
injuries can occur, man, and RJ got uh, almost a finger chopped off. Obi was uh, Obi was injured as well. Brunson was on and on. So we have been having injuries this year, not only to Mitch and Mitch. I mean, a 3 week. Okay, 3 week is a dislocated shoulder. If you're a guy like him trying to block shots every night down there, I mean, it's a finger, man. It's not an unusual injury to have. It's like, oh
Well, yeah,
my God, this guy is
especially
injury prone.
yeah,
Well,
especially a
it's
guy like him in his position, banging in the paint all the
exactly.
time. It's bound to happen. Where you get your
Yeah.
finger jammed or something along that lines.
So, I
Um,
mean, if it was a foot, oh, his ankle is giving out again. God damn it!
yeah,
But
it's something
it's
else.
not. So it's good.
Um, so
Go on, go
let's
on.
let's talk a little bit about Obi Toppin. So Obi came back from injury like a couple weeks ago, and it seems like he's been on a little bit of a almost like a minutes restriction in a weird way. Doesn't really play more than 10, 11 minutes right now. And even yesterday he was producing, shooting efficiently, and he still only got like 10 or 11 minutes, I think. So my question to
That's
you,
what 10:30.
oh, it's 10 minutes, 30 seconds. Oh
Yeah,
man,
exactly.
damn.
Just
So do you think there's like some tension between him and Tibbs, or is he maybe going to get traded at the deadline? Like, what's your read on this whole Obi situation?
well, they'll say that it's he got an injured. We're slowly bringing him back. But it's, I mean, it's tough again. It's tough for him because it always will tie up to the Julius Randle question, and Julius Randle was playing some amazing basketball,
Mhm.
but you can tell that Julius Randle is tired, and
Mhm.
you can tell, man, you can clearly tell that guy is gassed. Like end of first quarter, he's sitting on the bench. Don't cover his mouth. The guy will die. The guy will pass out and die. He's so tired already, man.
Right.
He's done. Like we need that second unit to play more minutes,
Hmm.
and they haven't been great. And Obi getting back as well. Hardenstein at second unit, and Deuce hasn't been doing anything as well. That's why his minutes getting reduced and reduced. Um, Deuce with the minutes reduced. Great. So and Obi right there in the middle. I mean, quickly is playing more minutes. He got injured as well, another injury. Quickly. And now it's Obi's he's getting back. He's playing better. First few games were rough to say to be nice to him.
Right.
But we've seen the hoops as well. His alley-ooping or he's breaking out and slamming. So we see a bit more of Obi Toppin. And this game against the last night against the Raptors, he was really good. He was playing great. He was hitting threes that we need. He was hitting threes. He had energy. We know how Obi is on defense. He's Obi Toppin. That's
Mhm.
what he gives you.
Right.
Um, but if he's playing great and the other guy is tired, maybe play the backup a little bit more. Let the starter who's been playing 40 minutes every night and on back to backs, let him rest a bit. That's I th- I think it's the coaching. I don't think there's a problem within Obi and Tibbs.
Mhm.
I think it's just Tom Thibodeau's way of coaching.
Mhm.
Lean on the starters way too heavily. Run them into the ground. Just
Right.
it's I've given up. I've given into that notion. And he plays at those starters way too many minutes. Relies on them way too heavily. And well, guys from the bench, if you're not producing at a high quality level, if you're just producing, you get lost and you get those minutes reduced because if you're not impacting the game heavily with Tibbs, you are not the guy to play. And it hurts him because he might be a little bit off game for 2 3 minutes, but then he can have 4 minutes or 2 minutes where he's just running up and down the floor, getting the steals and getting the rebounds as well, and getting the dunks on one end. He showed energy last night, and we needed that energy. And he played 10 minutes because reasons.
You know, The thing with Obi, man, is you have to decide what it is you want to do with this guy. Like you can't take a guy who's on his rookie deal as a lottery pick and only play him 9, 10, 11 minutes a night. Like, and he's shown to be, it's not like he's a scrub, he's shown to be valuable in these minutes. And at the end of the day, they're kind of being pulled in two different directions. They're like, well, Julius is playing at a pseudo all-star level, so we got to make sure he gets his, but we want to make sure Obi's there just in case, we have a plan for the future. Like, all right, guys, what is it? Either you're going to nurture this talent, give him more minutes, figure it out. I understand you have Julius Randle, but we always talk about how this is a positionless league and how we should be able to, be more adaptable and flexible. And the problem is, it goes back to the fact that they always want their whole defense is predicated on the rim protector. And when you don't have a rim protector and you have Obi and Randle in there together, with Randle at 5, it becomes a problem. But the thing is, it's like you need to be able to adjust and be able to adapt. Like other teams are able to do this that play like these small quote unquote death lineups or whatever, and you got to be able to do that. It's just like you can't just say, well, I don't have a traditional rim running center, so Obi, you're only going to get in for the 12 minutes that Julius is on the bench, And it's like, well, that's not fair to him. If that's the case, if that's how it's going to be, just have him request a trade and get him out of here. Let him go somewhere that needs a young power forward on a developing team. So, which leads me to the follow-up, Rafa. Do you see a situation where he could be traded at the deadline?
Well, absolutely. I mean, is there any other path for Obi right now to be in this league and be not and play meaningful minutes in a whatever team? I mean, he needs to play somewhere else because we're clearly playing with Julius Randle. It's not a knock on Julius Randle because he's an all-star this year. So again, tough position for Obi. I think him and Cam are the guys that we might move. Him and Cam are going somewhere else. I think I mean, you were talking about the positionless league, and last night, I mean, again, reverting back to the game last night, Tom Thibodeau after at the press conference said, "Oh, I needed size and shooting, so that's why I played Evan Fournier so many minutes." Oh, Evan Fournier played more minutes than Obi Toppin and Deuce McBride combined.
Crazy.
Evan Fournier went 1 from 7 from 3. He's not
again.
He
It's
wasn't
not
shooting
Evan's
well.
fault. He's a rhythm shooter. I mean, they're all rhythm shooters, and he hasn't been able to really get consistent playing time. So, what do you think is going to happen?
Where I'm going is you had a guy. I mean, he's a power forward, okay, but he's agile.
Sure.
You're losing. You tried to play Randle at the 5 and Obi at the 4. It did not work. So you brought in Sims. Couldn't you try like Randle or Obi or whatever at the 3 because he's hitting shots?
Well, here's the thing, Rafa. Remember earlier in before the season started, I'd mentioned this to you guys, and you guys kind of laughed it off, and you're like, "This is what they need to fucking do," because if you're really dead set on having a rim protector, throw one of these guys in at the 3. And I mean, offensively, Obi keeps himself in the corner anyway. It's no different than how a lot of times Thibodeau's offense has RJ situated.
Exactly.
It's just like if he's only going to get 10, 11 minutes, just get him out of here. It's not fair to him. And it's not like he was a young guy coming in the league. He came in as he was a little bit of an older rookie. So he's already about to be 25, and he's still not getting over 20 minutes a night. That's just tanking any type of career he's going to have. And I get he's a New York kid. He wants to be a Knick, but look, if they're going to make a decision and commit to Julius Randle as their guy or their number 2 or number 3 option, whatever he is, for the next 2, 3, 4 years, then yeah, Obi's got to go. You got to get something for him. The same way you got to get rid of Cam because he's just languishing on the bench right now, and it's just unfair to the player is the way I'm kind of coming at it. Like,
no, absolutely. I agree
Now,
with you. It's absolutely
I wonder if there was a coaching change, if they would treat it differently. Talk about that Obi at the 3 or maybe Randall at the 5 type of lineup. And that kind of thing makes me wonder as well if this is really just a coaching thing or has Obi just not shown it in practice. But like he's shown that I think he is a capable and competent NBA player. And it remains to be seen what they do. The deadline's coming up in a couple weeks, 3 weeks, I think.
I'm
And
scared, man.
yeah, I don't know, man. So it's been kind of quiet.
Okay. So,
So I guess we could like,
have you heard about the quiet before the storm?
yeah, the
Yeah.
calm before the storm, right? Right.
No, dude, but calm. Sorry. Yeah, it's. I'm scared. I'm scared.
I mean, that kind of leads into our next thing here, though, our final topic, which is the rumors about Cam Reddish. Obviously, Cam Reddish been racking up DNP CDs like crazy. Has not Thibodeau refuses to throw him in the lineup, regardless of who's out or whatever. And it just almost seems like they all know that a trade is coming. Um,
Yeah.
so right now, rumors about the Heat being interested, the Mavs being interested, and about a Reggie Bullock reunion potentially. The Bucks with a Grayson Allen trade kind of in the rumor mill there. So I think we know that he's probably going to be traded. Of these teams to make a deal with the Knicks, who do you see as the viable option to take on Cam?
In the looking at the paper in paper, the Bucks seem like a pretty good fit
Mm-hmm.
for him. Like
Yep.
he coming off the bench, he's a lengthy guy. He can play defense. He can score. We know he can score. He can shoot the three. And having Giannis at the center of attention, especially with Middleton kind of is still out and lingering injuries as well, can be a guy that can help that team a lot. Can have like Alex says so many times, if he goes in there and he knows, yeah, I'm not going to be a star, that
Mm-hmm.
star idea, I think he can fit really well there. Do for the Bucks what we thought he could do for the Knicks, basically. Be that guy up the bench that helps us. And to your earlier point about Tibbs not playing him, I had a thought today
Okay.
that okay, this makes Tom Thibodeau look like an idiot for not playing it, a douche for not playing a guy, Cam Reddish,
Yeah.
whatever, for
Right.
whatever reason. Oh, I needed size.
Mm-hmm.
Fournier, who's smaller, over Cam. So it makes him look not great.
Mm-hmm.
So what if it's the front office said to Tibbs, do not play him because we're finding him finding a deal that will send him somewhere else.
Well, you
I think
have. I mean, it's possible. Because they probably don't want to risk injury. That is very possible.
yeah. So yeah, the front office tells that to Tibbs.
Mm-hmm.
Many times if the front office has said this guy won't play because we're getting him a trade deal somewhere else,
Mm-hmm.
and that takes the blame off the coach,
Right.
right? But right now, you look at the coach and I mean, it's weird. What I'm saying, it's a weird situation. What if it's Tibbs taking the blame because, well, they know Tibbs is his final season or whatever. He tips it up. I don't mind taking the blame for you guys. You guys do your thing. I
So you
will
think it's
take
like a
the
master plan type
instead of
thing?
you. Yeah, something like that. Like, no, don't say anything. I'll take the blame. Don't worry. It's my last year. Something wishful thinking. I'm just saying, it's my last year. Next year will be a different coach, and you guys don't take the blame for this one. You don't take the heat from the fans and the media for blowing up this trade
Right.
with Cam or blowing up this thing. Can I have something here? I'm just trying to come up with things that for Cam not playing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'll say that. It's not ridiculous because they're probably saying, "Hey, man, we got to make sure this guy doesn't get hurt, or else he's going to tank this trade value. We're not going to be able to move him, and he's just going to walk away for free in free agency at the end of the year." So they're probably thinking, all right, we gotta, say, hey, well, we'll have room for him in the rotation. Somebody else take him on, give us some second round picks, give us a player, whatever. And when I look at the deals on the table,
Well, yeah.
I don't think Miami's making the deal because the Heat and the Knicks never do deals with each other. Literally. Like they've never done a transaction with one another. So the Mavericks make sense. The Bucks make the most sense. Like imagine a lineup at the end of a game with Drew Holiday, Giannis, and Cam in it, just in terms of wing
Yeah.
defense. I mean, that's just crazy. Yeah, they're all long
Those
and
are.
yeah. I mean, the Bucks make the most sense, I think, for and that brings up the conversation piece where in a Bucks trade that would bring back Grayson Allen, Bucks guard and this is a guy I can't stand. I haven't been able to stand him since college, and when he
I
was
was
at
gonna
Duke.
say he's a lovable character
Yeah,
in
and
Grayson Allen.
but it's hard to argue the fit in terms of what the team needs. You're talking about a decent defender on the perimeter, can hit a 3-point shot. He's got some nasty in him, which I think a lot of Knicks fans at least think that the team needs. So I guess what are your thoughts on bringing in Grayson Allen if that's the deal for Cam?
Well, if if Cam clearly is out there, is out of here, out there somewhere in some team, we talked about what we need. Shooting a guy who can shoot the 3-pointer. We know he can. Just
Mhm.
look at some games against the Knicks.
Right.
And can play defense. And he can play defense. He can break your leg while playing defense on you. But okay, nobody on the other team loves him. No one likes him. But you ask his teammates and the fan base of the Bucks, well, they probably love him. He's a guy out there fighting hard for them, and so
He's like a Charles
obviously I don't
Oakley
like
type,
him.
man, in the way like if you play against him, you hate him,
Yeah,
but when he's on your
Patrick
team,
Beverly,
you love to have him. Yeah.
literally the same. Nobody likes Patrick Beverly.
Mhm.
Nobody. This thing that he hit with him with Damian Lillard. You, you get that? The watch is
Yeah, the
broken. I
broken
broke
time
my.
thing.
I mean,
Yeah, come on.
nobody likes him.
Right.
Yeah, but everyone thinks he's an idiot. Like everybody thinks Grayson Allen is an idiot. But well, when you're playing with him, you like him. That's why the Bucks got him. The Bucks look. The Bucks were trying to win titles and brought Grayson Allen.
Right.
So they're not idiots. Oh, let's bring this asshole to our team because he will not get us a title. Well, no. So if
So I
you
guess
want some value for Cam, because
yeah.
people are overvaluing Cam crazy.
Hmm.
Like Cam Reddish trade is the new Knox in the first. You can get the world for Cam Reddish.
Yeah.
Cam Reddish, Evan Fournier for Kawhi Leonard. It's doable.
Yeah, it's fine. No big deal.
Doable.
Oh yeah.
It's
Why wouldn't the
so
Clippers do
Cam
that?
Reddish. Yeah, exactly. Um, so yeah, I wouldn't be mad at Grayson Allen. I mean, he's the type of guy you want, basically.
So let me ask you this then. Obviously, there's been now 4 players that have been mentioned as potential
Yeah.
targets to be moved at the deadline. Obviously, Evan Fournier, Derrick Rose, Cam, and Obi, which we talked about earlier. Of the 4, how many of them do you think actually do get traded by the deadline?
If it's for a guy like um just Grayson Allen, for example, you
Mhm.
can do that one on one with a few picks because there's not much cap space involved.
Right.
If there's cap moving in some way, shape, or form, a guy like Evan Fournier or Derrick Rose can be moved,
Mhm.
especially maybe Rose. It's a lighter contract, so maybe he can be moved.
Right.
Um, I don't know if he would help Rose with Cam Reddish to the Bucks to have that a guy playing at point guard Derrick Rose. He might help Samuel, but he's getting $12 million. I think it's 12 or
Yeah,
15,
something like
something
that.
like that. Yeah, it's not if it's
Look, man,
there's money coming
just
back
bring
to the
back
Knicks.
Thanasis, bro. Bring back Thanasis Antetokounmpo, and we'll be in good shape.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, that's the only. I mean, the Rose. If Rose is content not playing, being there,
Mhm.
I don't know if he is because he kind of talked to about the coach, which is
Mhm.
was surprising. I mean, Fournier is talking back at Nick's Twitter. Um, so I don't know. And Obi, I mean, Obi is for his sake. I hope we find him a better home.
Mhm.
That's basically it. I'm not an Obi guy. I'm not an Obi hater. I'm an Obi guy, but just let him be free. If you love him, set him free. It's basically it.
Yeah, I think when you look at it, Cam's probably the one who goes for sure because there's no reason for them not to trade him because he's expiring anyway. Might as well get something for him. Rose is the one that I'm kind of waffling on. So I could see a contender talking himself into some point guard depth and mortgaging a couple picks and getting taking on Derrick Rose, and like I could see the Clippers trying to do that. I could see you see if Memphis didn't have Tyus Jones, I think they would do that, but they like Tyus Jones a lot. But yeah, there are other contenders out there that would probably want to have a nice backup point guard who has some playoff experience and veteran presence and things of that nature. Why not? Fournier is going to be the difficult one to move. I don't think Obi's getting traded at the deadline. I think they might field some offers, and like you said, for his
Yeah.
sake, he probably should be traded just because from a lack of playing time perspective. But yeah, I think Cam
I think
and Rose are your primary two, right?
yeah, I think so. They're the most movable because Obi, you want if you're the front office, if you're looking to unload Obi, you know that you need to get someone good in return because the fan base will
Oh yeah,
eat
they'll riot.
your
They'll
oof.
riot. Yeah, they
Oh,
want.
absolutely. So you will need someone or someone's
Are
one
there any
good in return.
teams that you think like make sense in an Obi trade? Like, do you send them maybe to Golden State, try to get like one of their young guys in return,
Are they good enough
like
for that?
Moody or Kaminga?
Mm, mm,
Like, I don't know. I
I
mean, I'm
don't know,
just kind
man.
of spitballing here. Like, 'cause I don't
I
think Golden
just
State's trying to get rid of Wiseman. Yeah, I don't think that'll
yeah,
happen.
I'm just thinking that for some reason I get this feeling that if we move Obi,
Mhm.
Fournier is going with him.
Just for salary purposes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Obi is going with Fournier, like salary matching or something. I don't think Quickly is going anywhere. There will be offers for Quickly, especially after this last run. But man, I don't. Obi needs to be a good return. If this front office really wants to believe that they need to win the trades or they need to look good in these trades,
Yeah.
it's hard to have a good trade looking good when you're trading Obi away from New York. So it's
Yeah, any Obi trade is going to be unpopular. That's gonna. He's the type of guy. It's like when the Knicks traded or got rid of Rod Strickland back in the day. It's like he's a local guy, fans like him. And you're just going to get rid of him. That's not going to sit well with a lot of Knicks fans who really like this guy. Um, let's let's jump into some game picks.
you think Artenstein remains a Nick? You want him that bad here? Just remember
I don't think anybody wants him. Like who's trying to trade for this guy right now? Like there's something to say about like your value trending up and trending down. His value is in the cellar right now, man. It's rock bottom. Like you'd have to give up draft picks to get off of this guy. Like that's how bad it's gotten. I just don't see any team talking themselves into it. Um
poor guy.
yeah, well,
Now go.
he'll be all right.
Poor guy.
But yeah, let's get into these game picks, man. So 3 games this week. Tomorrow against the Cavs. That's the only home game this week. Then Thursday in Boston and Saturday in Brooklyn. So, Alpha, what do you think?
I have to. Because I'm
I know
feeling
it's
a
hard, man.
7 game losing streak, man.
Yeah.
Just that's what I'm feeling, man.
0-3, huh?
Oh my God.
I
I don't
wonder.
know. Every time I feel
I just
go
wonder.
ahead,
I
sorry.
think maybe I'm crazy, but I think they could steal one in Brooklyn. No KD. Is Simmons been looking Brooklyn's been looking good though. Kyrie's been balling. No doubt about
Yeah.
that. Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like they're due for one against Brooklyn. Maybe they could steal one. Ben Simmons maybe finally has a loss against the Knicks. And but Boston, I mean, that's they're one of the top three teams in the league, and Cleveland's been playing well with Mitchell. Yeah, I'm
And
going 1-2 personally. I think
I'm
we can
not
win against Brooklyn
I'm not looking forward into for tomorrow's game. Oh my God, especially on Twitter.
in the Garden
We
too,
could have
man.
had this. We could have had this. Look at this. Look at this. Oh my God. I can't. Oh, dude, it's tomorrow's going to be pain.
Yeah,
Celtics game is going to be pain, and well, the Nets
we'll see what happens.
probable pain. I hope. I hope they play. I mean, even if they're that tired, even if a foot is falling off from how tired they are, I hope they fucking bring it to Brooklyn.
Mhm.
It's you owe that. It's the game you need to do it.
Gotta win that game.
I
Yeah,
mean, come on, man. It's at least go down swinging in Kyrie's face.
there you go.
That would be great.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
so down.
yeah, I know it's just tough, man. I mean, we lost 4 in a row. I mean, how can you be optimistic? Especially you're talking about what top 3 of the top 5 teams in the East right now. So it's tough. It's a tough stretch.
Sports is it's so weird. Like a week ago or a week and a half ago, we were all, yes, look at that, we're playing great. RJ is back to the moon.
Yeah,
And
we were
then
like,
they
oh
forgot to
man,
put,
this that schedule, Cleveland, Boston, Brooklyn, that'll be a real test. And now we're just like,
come
I
on,
only want to take the test. Just give me the
we
F now.
mounted the rocket. We mounted the rocket. We made it the entire expedition. And you forgot to put fuel on the fucking rocket. Dude, goddamn.
Man, I don't know,
Oh
man.
my God.
Like if they get kind of blown out in all 3 of these games, I think he might be fired. Like honestly. I don't know, man.
Oh,
Like if
there's
like
fuel in
if
the
they
rocket
lose
for
by
that.
20 every single game, I'm saying, like if they look miserable, that kind of deal. But we'll see. I don't know, man. It's like 'cause 7th in a row. I mean,
Don't.
Dolan's not gonna like that, and especially if he
No.
starts hearing boo birds in the Garden when the Cavs are here. I don't know. You never know, but
Oh my God. No.
but yeah.
It's
So
I just hope to survive another week.
just
Just
survive
hope to
another week.
survive this. Look, your camera's not surviving. Look at that.
Yeah. Okay. The
She's
camera got fucked
no,
up.
I don't want to live.
Whoops. But anyway, that is going to wrap us up for another episode of the Worldwide Knicks podcast. If you'd like to follow us on Twitter, you could do so at WW Podcast, where we tweet about the games and other rumors and happenings in the world of the New York Knicks. If you like the pod, please make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, rate and review on both of those platforms. If you want to catch us on video, we are on YouTube as well, which is, if you watch the YouTube, you could just see my camera tripod just falling over and me catching it in midair, trying to make it look
Nice
natural.
reflexes, by the way.
Hey man,
Reflexes.
that's playing all the NBA 2K back in the day, it still kicks in. So
I thought you're trying out for wide receiver next year for the Giants.
I mean, I should. It's just the only way I'm gonna make it. But anyway, that's gonna wrap it up for another episode of the Worldwide Knicks. Omar Rafa. Hopefully, Alex will be back with us next week. Until then, have a good one, and we will catch you guys later.